I believe we have smart money buying tons of cards in this market. No doubt about it. The only thing we really need for us to join that trajectory, because I saw someone mention, what am I buying? The one thing we need in order for our hobby to go back on the straight up ramp that we were on, or at least a very healthy increase, is we need a rotation back into base. And that's been my biggest, everything I do, any interview or when I'm on Clubhouse or whatever, I keep talking about this because it's so critical. Everybody has rotated out of base into nosebleed goats and growls, and the hobby's not going to grow on nosebleed goats and growls. The hobby's going to grow when the rotation goes back into base, because then the buy-in is affordable for everybody, and there's a high level of liquidity, excitement, and whatever. And I think that's important. And so we will rotate back into base, and maybe Topps Chrome, when Fanatics takes over into the other sports, maybe that'll be part of it. You know, when they have Chrome basketball come back, maybe that'll be part of it. But the rotation back into base is going to be critical. I think that's going to be critical, because goats and growls is not going to get us to the finish line. We're going to burn out then. Too much risk in the goats and growls, like these $1 million, $500,000 stuff. It's crazy. That's crazy talk. People can't get involved in the hobby in a meaningful way there. But I'll tell you, when Jaw and Zion, all these things were going through the roof, Topps update cards and, you know, Bowman Chrome first whatevers, that's when things were cooking, because everybody could get in. A guy could start investing in trading cards for $60. That's over, because we're telling those people that stuff's junk. Well, hell, 6 months ago, we told them it was great. Like, which is it? And, like, again, I think we get too hung up on pop reports. We get too hung up on, you know, pops. It's just, again, we can talk till 3 in the morning if we go into all that stuff. But I think that's the good news about the industry is we've got tons of opportunity here. And I think Fanatics is going to be an important part of that. So, again, as much as I'm like, I don't think Fanatics has everything they need, and I'm skeptical that they can pull it off with just Topps, I'll tell you this. I think they're going to help the industry tremendously in the way they're going to participate, which is growing eyeballs. They will be successful there.
Okay,
some people will lose. Some people jump in on the hobby, but who knows?
Sorry to interrupt. I got to jump in on the talk of base, because I've seen some comments in the chat. You know, like someone made the comment that that high end needs to be more accessible. There's a comment that base is what allows everyone to be a part of the hobby. Well, base isn't going away, but a lot of people in the hobby don't care about it. But a lot of people still do. There's a lot of set collectors still in this hobby that collect Topps base every year. They collect Upper Deck Series 1, 2 every year. They collect the Prism set. People still are collecting base. What I kind of wonder is there seems to be an attitude out there that every participant, every hobbyist should have access to every price point. And I don't know any other industry where that exists. Like, are Ferraris and Lamborghinis not going to last because people can't afford them?
No, of course.
Or because they're out of reach from the people that can only afford a Honda or a Toyota or whatever. I mean, life is full of these different price points. And Fanatics, Topps, Upper Deck, Panini, Leaf, all card companies make cards to satisfy and to serve all the different price points, or at least they try. I mean, even the cheapest stuff got out of control. I understand that. But as far as base goes, base is still something. You're not going to convince, I don't think we're going to convince many seasoned collectors to stop going after LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Mickey Mantle, and start looking for secondary players.
No, I agree with that.
That's not, I just don't see that happening. But to say that I've heard people say base is dead. It's not dead. There's a ton of people collecting it, and it's a great entry level product. There are great entry level base card products for people to come in at. But what I take issue with is people feeling like they're entitled to high end stuff. If you can't afford it, you're blocked out. That's just the way it is. I was watching some content earlier today, and the creators were saying that the Mint Collective priced me out. Well, you weren't meant to be there in the first place.
That's meant to be the guys who are buying in Ken. I see Ken's in chat. It's the guys who are bidding at his auction, or the guys who are trying to get to go to Mint Collective. They're probably trying to take his customers, but they're trying to get them to go to the Mint Collective. They want the big dogs there. What I'm saying is, when I say the rotation out of base, I'm talking from an investment standpoint. People have thrown base out with the bathwater. They just totally bailed. I mean, the vintage has firmed up a little bit more, which is nice to see. And the high-end stuff is really strong. But, I mean, there's been a rotation out of base. There's no doubt about that from an investment standpoint. They're running from that stuff. And it's not just Zion's bad foot that makes it happen, because any player that's decent, look at Joe Burrow, the guy's hot as a firecracker. His basic stuff is actually softened a little bit when the guy is playing lights out. Now, what does it take for a guy to go up anymore? Like, they're not going up right now, the base type stuff. It doesn't matter whether a guy plays good or not. But if a guy plays bad or hurts his foot, it's over. The roof's going to come crashing down on you. That's a sign that people have almost thrown that category away, which is why that's what I'm buying right now, is I'm buying base. I'm putting all the money that I'm buying cards with into base, because I believe a 20,000 pop on Topps Updated Acuna, I keep picking on that card because that's my favorite. That's not a lot of cards. A 15 or 20,000 Luka Prism PSA 10 is not a lot of cards. It's a lot of cards compared to a pop 3, but guess what? How many collectors would like to have a Luka PSA 10 or an Acuna Update PSA 10? You know?
I hear what you're saying. I see Ken in there, and Ken, we did test it, but you could be saying I do believe this is the real Ken Golden, everybody.
That is it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You know, I just want to come back to the comment I made about the entitlement, you know, and because it does bother me that people will make comments that, well, you know, I'm priced out of it, so it's just so the hobby's gone to the crapper sort of thing. Well, no, the hobby has evolved. The products have evolved, and just like people who can't afford national treasures probably can't afford a Ferrari either. Are they crying about the automobile industry at that point in time, or do you just accept it?
You're right,
and play where you can? So that's one thing. I think it's just important to understand that, you know, I'm not out there buying Bentleys, and trust me, I love a Bentley.
I went and looked at Escalades today, but I can't fly. I'm not flying private. So, like, there's levels. Even if you're at a high level, there's higher levels. I'm not buying nosebleed $1 million Pat Mahomes. That's not my ballpark. That's just not my game. It's okay. Not everyone can buy the ultimate high end. Some people have to say, I can't buy treasures ever again. It's never going to be at my price point. That's why breaking's so popular, because they can play for less. And, you know, I would argue that I don't know what the in some game is if collectors are aided or hurt by that, but they get to play at least. You know,
well, at the end of the day,
right, 100%, Jeremy.
Well, and when I see those when I see those people making those comments, and I just think to myself, you know, that's life. Like, where are you new? Are you new to the world because you've been priced out of things before? Now listen, I would love everybody to be able to afford everything, but there's a reason why a box of Exquisite or Upper Decks the Cup or National Treasures comes in these big fancy boxes with multiple layers of packaging. It's all about the experience. Not everybody's out there buying Louis Vuitton purses either for their wives or themselves. It's you buy what you can afford. The nice thing about the hobby is, even if you can't afford a box of Prism, you can afford something. You can go onto ComC or Sport Lots or wherever and buy cards for 25 cents and up. You can go to a local card shop and buy cards. There are accessible items in this hobby for everybody. You might just not be able to, but Brian, you might not be able to get what you want the most, but like, I want a Bentley the most, but I drive a freaking GMC Terrain because that's what I drive. I don't need the Bentley, and I still get to where I got to go.
You live up in the snow-covered tundra, so you probably need that. But you're right. You're right about that completely. And the good news in the metaverse, you can buy a Louis Vuitton bag for $59.